way. In the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player is Chivo's Sue, taking on the teal Protoss in the bottom right, Black Knight's Daydreamer. Daydreamer gave Solar a real run for his money last week in the form of, well, kind of being absolutely terrifying because he cannon rushed, he very nearly got the win. Didn't quite work out. It was a really ridiculous game. If you check out one game from last week, that one's got to be up there in the games you should check out. It was actually just wacky and crazy. It was pretty silly. So yeah, Daydreamer is not going to do anything too crazy here in game number 1, as Sue is going to go into a cybernetics core. And we're just going to set up into this, a hatchery dropping down on that third base. It's a little bit of build up here for the moment. Hatchery just about halfway done so far. As we see the Twilight Council Nexus building up. So Daydreamer's initial tech choice, that Twilight Council is very early in the game, by the way, like 220 Twilight. Really getting this up as soon as possible. And as the Robo comes down, we'll get some confirmation that this is going to be a Archon drop opening, probably. Sign up into a bit of an Archon drop opener, Robo. Currently halfway along as the charge starting up on that Twilight Council. The Extractor here is going to take a bit of a beating as well. It's going to drop in a moment or two. This gateway, finishing the wall off at the front, and actually going to be fully walled in, obviously. I mean, initially you're going to have that Robo facility with the Warprism to get the TTs out, so that's not too much of an issue. So he starts up the lair, and in a few seconds' time, a Rotron would be a nice accompaniment to obviously have the mobile detection, the Overseer, and also have the Rotron as well. But actually, this is not a Dark Shrine at all. Sorry, I'm off and away talking about Dark Shrine. There's actually charge started and pulling out a gas. Okay, well, Daydreamer, he's also not fully walled in. Oh my god, what a disaster by me. What an actual disaster of a start. So as the War Prism pops out, he's actually going to go for this charge all in. Does have a Stalker in the wall, so it really looked like this wasn't a wall for whatever reason. Oh my god. Bad caster. Terrible caster. So we've seen the Zealots warping in here. Just going to see those 4 Zealots heading out into the center of the map. So, I mean, for Sue, though, it's all about just figuring out what's going on here. And the problem is he sees no gases on this natural, so that's already a good sign. And he is already building the Spinelings and Roaches. So, feels like he's got a pretty good read of what's going on. One Prism coming around to the top side. 4 Zealots inside of it. Going to be dropping into the main. And as you do see, Lings, Roaches, and Queens. Starting to target down. I mean, the Queen's targeting that Prism right away. The Ling's coming forwards. The Prism is going to drop, which means reinforcements are going to be difficult to come by. And that really hurts the momentum that this Zealot attack is meant to really hold here. So this is actually looking pretty bad already for Daydreamer. Assuming it's a good defense in the main, picking off that Prism. The Zealots will still take a little while to go down. And this is the problem. Imagine you had 8 more Zealots joining this attack right here. It's still very scary. They have charge, they do a lot of damage right away. But now as the Zealot numbers drop down, that kind of mass kind of changes. There's a second Prism already here. Daydreamer is almost like prepared to lose the first. That's kind of crazy actually. Roaches continue to pick their way through a few more Zealots. A few more Zealots going down. The Prism lifting up a couple of those units and bringing them down the left-hand side. Stalker is going to be pushed away into the middle of the map, and Roach speed starting now from Sue in the back of that mineral line. Again, that Roach speed started. A couple of Ravagers building here in the third base as well. I'm just going to be seeing again as Roach speed comes up. Lings, Ravagers. I mean, the thing is, this is all in from Daydreamer, and Sue very much so knows that. So he knows he doesn't have to make drones. He just has to keep making units to deal with wave after wave of this, and this is going to be another wave that just doesn't really do much. You know, kiting backwards just to minimize the damage that is done here. And those Zealots are just absolutely doomed. You might try and lift up a couple to try and help out with the next warp in, but this is really not going well. He might even just head home. He's actually building probes, so Dreamer is going to try and transition, but Su knows that he's going to have no tech, and Su will be able to counter-attack and should just end this game. So Roaches, Ravages, and Lings heading down to the bottom right. Zealots dropping off already. Again, those units coming around this right-hand side here. Roaches and Ravages off Su. Going to press up this ramp, and already going to be seeing that Cybernetics core. It's going to get picked away at, so Cyber core is going to be going down. Opens the pathway into that natural expansion. As you see the Lings just being a good buffer for those Roaches as well, and Daydreamer is in so much trouble. I mean, it's literally these Zealots versus the world as the Roaches and the Ravages continue to fight. More and more of those Zealots continue to take a lot of damage. So a lot of Zealots going down here as we see the Stalker trying to fight back as well. It's going to be GG, and Daydreamer is going to tap out to give Su. It kind of potentially opens up more slots for other players. The players that are returning might indeed actually look to do, might actually look to return because there's more spots in Code S available, etc. So. Bottom right hand side, our Teal Protoss player is Daydreamer. As on the top left, our Blue Zerg is Su, dropping down the 12th pool to open up. Can't believe they won't let Classic go to BlizzCon, he's number 2 on points. I mean, they literally denied Pult from going to BlizzCon that time, right? Pult had to cancel his BlizzCon participation because he, yeah, because he had to go, suddenly he was called to go to his military. I'm not sure how different that is because obviously Pult was living abroad, so when he got called it was like, you gotta come now, whereas Classic has been, maybe there's a way that Classic's been good at not traveling and staying in Korea. Maybe they'll let him travel for that, but it's definitely not impossible. It's just absolutely a possibility that he does get tonight, right? Probably more likely that he gets tonight. It's crazy. Because he got denied going to Katowice, but the difference in that is, right? BlizzCon is like the World Championship, and Katowice is like a tournament along the way. And for Katowice, he just made an open sign-up to the bracket, right? Whereas BlizzCon, he straight up qualified, so I'm not sure when he asks for his exception, if that might give him the exception that he needs, you know? Because if that gives him the exception that he needs, then maybe that, maybe that is seen a bit differently. Anyways, it's hard to say. As we do see the Probes and a Zealot in that wall-off, and obviously the scout from Daydreamer was very good to figure out that, hey, there is a 12 pool coming, and so now he's got 2 gates up to defend against this. And he will hold this off with relative ease, so Su has delayed the expansion, but in general, didn't really do much at all. His hatchery is coming up, but he's down a few drones, and I guess droning up quite heavily now. Daydreamer just needs to get into that. What is going to be interesting is now that Daydreamer has units, he will be able to go across the map, and that will probably force a couple more Lings out, and hence slow the drones being made from Su here. So the 12 pool not really too exciting, not really too successful. Su definitely playing from a little bit of a deficit. Things like affording the 3rd hatchery, for example, might be pretty difficult now. Depth pressing forward is going to start to do a little bit of damage there to the Queen, and the Zergans continue to gamble up as well. More Lings continue to come over too. We'll get about halfway done. Again, that next is about halfway done as well. So the Dev's going to shade by in towards the main base. Creep Tumor coming up at the front, and there's Lings in the main as well. And yeah, Su's kind of transitioned out of this quite nicely. I mean, this is where Daydreamer just backs away and says, you know what, I'm still in, an okay-ish spot. So there's a couple of Adepts shading up that ramp, not doing much just yet. Link speed on the way, a couple more Overlords popping out. Stargate drops in the main base. We're going to be seeing a Twilight Council dropping in the back from Daydreamer as well, so getting that ready to go as a couple of Adepts and Zealots continuing down the bottom right hand side. They're just going to be popping in towards this wall off. Again, there's going to be seeing an extra gateway in the back as well, so chilling out for a few moments. We do see the Stalker able to pick away at this Overlord, dealing quite a bit of damage right now. So Overlord taking a good few shots, is going to fall. Resonating Glaives on the way up on the Twilight Council pretty much immediately. So we are going to be seeing Daydream. I mean, Resonating Glaives typically leads you into a bit more of an aggressive focused game, right? And not too surprised to see Daydreamer once again trying to play pretty aggressively. Zergling's running out the right-hand side for a moment. +1 melee on the Evolution Chamber. And again, the other Adepts continue up through the middle of the map now. Baitling Nest drops down from soon the back of the Natural, and there go the Adepts shading by. We're going to see the Adepts turn back around. The drones have to run away to the side there, and yeah, just going to see +1 melee coming up. Baitling Nest popping. Honestly, it's all the things you kind of want to deal with an Adept attack, because the +1 melee is going to be great when the Lings get those surrounds on Adepts. What's also going to be great is the Banelings obviously force the Adepts to split away, which means the Lings can get those surrounds much more effectively and efficiently. Again, Resonating Glaives about to finish up here on the Twilight. A lot more Adepts from Daydreamer continuing out into the center of the map, so shading up to the top left. Dealing a bit of damage here, obviously a nice little counter attack as the Adepts are mostly focused on the top. Now there isn't any Banelings yet, so Sue isn't immediately ready to deal with this. So already the Queen's taking quite a bit of damage now. The Adepts are not really here to kill Queens, they're here to kill drones. Lings really just not in good numbers because they're all on the other side of the map. Now they're pulling back, realizing the problem. Sue is actually taking quite a bit of damage. 7 drones down at the moment. Continue to fight this out as the Adepts are going to shade back down to the natural expansion Lings here. Trading out with that. A nice spinning connection finally coming in, but I mean, behind this, Daydreamer should have just been building up a lot more. He hasn't really been making more Adepts or reinforcing this, so I feel like this is pretty okay damage, but he's floating 1,000 minerals, so he's definitely made some mistakes here in his macro while this attack has gone on, which if he hadn't, might just put him in a better position than he is right now. So he actually makes a lot more Lings and is going to go across the map, so maybe looking to get a bit of a counter going on, try and punish Daydreamer for losing all of those Adepts just there. So they definitely take quite a bit of damage. They will go down both of those, and again, the Lings continue to nibble away at the front here. There's a couple of Banes continuing forwards, and actually we'll start to make some progress in towards the base, but isn't going to work out in the end. Now a Hydra's dead on the way up, so this is going to turn into Ling Bane Hydra. Meanwhile, though, a Robo Bay drops down from Daydreamer. So with the Robo Bay coming into play, if he goes into Colossus, Colossus can work very well against Ling Bane Hydra, but you do have to control it carefully, because the last thing you want is if you get fully surrounded, Colossus can die in an instant. You need to fight in choke points, you need to be careful with the engagements, so see how Daydreamer does with that. It's very positional focused. Bane's back into the center, this Overseer. Flying back to the left as well. A few more Zealots coming into the center of the map now. Not really sure about this continued aggression though from Daydream, because it feels like he's going to Colossus, it feels like he's teching up. So fights like this just kind of feel like he's given up his chance to tech up and move into a better position. I mean, it's going to work out for the moment, but maybe Sue didn't have to fight right in the middle of the map, right? Maybe Sue could have sat back and waited a bit longer. Now he has reinforcements coming in that will allow him to clean this up a little bit better. It's still not a bad trade from Daydream, but again, I question why Sue feels the need to be as aggressive as he's been in the middle of this map. Generally, as the Zerg, you don't want to jump on those armies unless you're super sure you can overwhelm and kill it, or unless you absolutely have to. And obviously, I just sat right here, there is no reason that you absolutely have to jump on that and try and take it down. All these Zerglings heading around the left, a few more Hydras joining in the center, and we do see this Overseer from Sue. Going back and forth between the main and the natural. Extra Banelings on the way up right now as well, so getting that going as we see the Revelation dropping. Banelings going to be kept in vision here as the Oracle is able to get that roll, and a few Hydras tagged up as well. Spire going to be finishing in a few moments' time, the Lings. Now at the top left, a couple of Zealots moving around as well. Just going to see a single Zealot already chasing down and banding. Get the Zealots. Freeze up. There you go. So he's about to get a Spire, so you can add some Corruptors into play. If you can get rid of the Colossus quickly in a fight, obviously then his Lane Bane Hydra becomes that little bit scarier. Banelings on the way up. Plus 2 melee is going to finish on the Evo in a second or two. And again, a lot of Zerglings running around. 6 Corruptors starting to build. This couple of Colossus continue Chrono Boost out as well. Forge on the way down from Daydreamers. They're getting that set up in the main base. Again, Zealots are set out around the map so far. 3 more Archons coming up into production here as the Corruptor count continue to come out. 24 more Zerglings. Going to be popping soon as the Hydra's chasing this Oracle away down the right hand side. The War Prism with Daydreamer hanging out to the left. Moments of calm before the storm. As mentioned, storm. There is no storm in this game again. Absolutely, the Colossus being the tech choice there for this. Big thin counter-attack to the bottom left. Assume not sure how well you can fight this army just yet. Corruptors starting to come in, but the Archons are definitely a scary layer underneath this. And if they can flash down the Corruptors, etc., then the Colossus will survive. No cancel on this base bottom left, so the Link counter-attack started to do a lot, and that doesn't bode well for this third base either, which has nothing on it at the moment. It seems like Daydreamer is just going to start continuing up the map, taking down Overlord. Our Corruptor taking some damage as well. Is going to fall. Lings continue to press forwards as well. So you can see a few more of these probes continue to drop down to the third Nexus in a lot of trouble. I mean, in the end, Su is just going to clean up this army over here. This wasn't an easy game for him, but obviously in the end he's going to make this work out for him. Just Daydream, I feel like, not really taking good chance of his opportunities, and maybe the Colossus is an interesting choice when Storm would have done just as well and maybe even more effectively. The problem with the Colossus is there is a way you can kill Colossus, whereas Storms, it's very hard to kill those High Templar. And if you 2-0, Armani needs to win at least one map here to potentially force an ace match. So our blue Zerg bottom right, let's see if he can do it. He is up against the red Zerg top left, Ragnarok from Chivo, as we get this underway. Okay, so setting this up, getting this underway for the moment. See what's going to be happening. Well, the next little while. Early game was Hatch, Gas, and Pooling. Speedstar. And these guys, sorry, I know it's really weird, guys. Like, we keep coming into this like a few moments late, but I have to run ads to support the channel. I just don't make enough money if I don't, right? So I kind of have to make ads to support the channel. The problem is, I have to make enough ads, run ads to support the channel. The problem is these guys start the game so quickly, so I try and throw into break as fast as possible. Sometimes this just starts super fast though, so I do apologize if we come in a minute or so late. If we ever do have something crazy like a 12th pool happening though, we'll absolutely bring you guys in ASAP and like skip the adverts. But I do have to try and sneak in ads whenever I can, so just a little heads up for you guys, as to, you know, some of you guys might be wondering, why do we keep going into the game so late or something like that? That is literally just the reason. Anyways, Bayonet on both sides, both of them on a third hatchery, and it is going to be a bigger wave of Zerglings here from Ragnarok to start. So Ragnarok looking to be the aggressor initially. Now, we actually saw a lot of Ragnarok ZVZ yesterday, of course. We saw a lot of Ragnarok ZVZ yesterday, actually, so kind of expecting a bit more of that here. Where kind of, you know, more of the same basically, where he played a lot of Ling Bane into Roaches. Never really played into anything beyond there, like Lurkers, etc. Played a very cool series where he came back against Solar. So, yeah, let's see what happens as we do see him obviously being the aggressor here initially. Armani will have to defend his third hatchery, so Armani a couple of workers ahead, but has the, you know, nice easy part of the fact that, hey, you know, I've got the units to now come up and defend this, whereas Ragnarok has just now started drawing, but Armani's been pretty fast to continue drawing here, so far so good between the two of them. These couple of Lings try and jump on top of the Baneling, of course, deny that for as free as possible. Oh no, Baneling's in the natural and in the main! Oh my god, Ragnarok just killed 16 drones. Well, that's just a game-ending move just like that. As unexciting as it may be, Baneling's just snuck by as Armani's defending elsewhere. And this game was just going just perfectly fine. Ragnarok knows as well, by the way. Roachron on the way down. He does not need to start an upgrade. He can just build Roachling Bane and just attack and win. You do not recover from 16 worker losses like that for free. You can't let that happen. It's a huge mistake. A huge mistake. It really is. Ah, that's brutal. Really brutal. Few Lings continue to run around. Bane's still setting up again. A couple of Banes of Ragnarok taking a little bit of damage there. Roachron is going to be finishing up. Crystal melee complete in a moment or two as well. Zerglin still pressing forwards, and those Banes of Armani. Trying to see what else can be done here. I mean, Armani will try and hold on, but he's working with a 19 worker deficit. He is going into melee upgrade, but if he doesn't do something with these melee Lings, he is absolutely just going to fall apart and die off in the next couple of minutes. Not even going to be that exciting, really. He gets a couple of drones, but 16 workers down, making only Ling Bane. His opponent is already starting to make roaches, so Ragnarok is going to be set up well against this. I'm just going to be seeing the roach 2 hanging out to the side. Banelings coming around the right. Zerglins is continuing to fire away. The roaches are going to be picking up those Bane kills. Pretty unexciting ZVZ, those Baneling away, and Chivo obviously didn't quite get the matchups they wanted there. So, yeah, now they're making really short work of Black Knight, though, who, again, put up a little bit of a fight against TSG last week, but did end up losing out. We do have the red Zerg in the top left-hand side, Armani. Up against the blue Zerg in the bottom right-hand side, Ragnarok. Game 4 of this best of 7. So continue to set this all up. See where we're gonna go. Ba-da-ba. Going to be seeing a few drones coming in on each side. A hatchery dropping down on the natural of both players as well. Overlord's moving into the center of the map. Spawning pool from both as well. Extractors on the way up. A lot of build up here. Let's get this rolling. A lot of build up. Extractor finishes up in the main base. Drones continue to mine away there for a few moments' time. Punch gets and pull the openings again. I mean, just gotta hope Armani doesn't let, you know, Banes into his mineral lines. Armani can absolutely take maps off of Ragnarok and players like, you know, at that sort of level. And that's what he has to do here. If they can get Dynamite in a favorable matchup and Armani to pick up a couple maps, Black Knight can win series. They can absolutely win series in this league. It's not easy. They are absolutely the underdogs. But it's not impossible. They just have to deliver when it counts, and that really means, again, Armani coming in, showing us what he can do as well. As we do see a couple of Zerglings from Ragnarok up through the center here, heading towards the top left-hand side. Speed starting up from both players. Hatchery going to be continuing along as well. So getting that hatchery up and running here in the next few moments. Baneling Nest will drop down from Armani. And that Bane Nest going obviously is quite nice as well. So you see hatchery about halfway done on both sides. So yeah, looking good as we have the Roach run from Ragnarok dropping down on the natural expansion. Bane Nest obviously being bypassed from Ragnarok means that he is being a little bit greedy here perhaps, and maybe there's some opportunity for Armani to come across and be aggressive. But both players are kind of going past the point where they're just going to make a bunch of lings, so it doesn't seem like that is really going to turn out to be the case. Got lings chasing around. We do see the two lings going up in towards the main. And we'll get picked off there. And an Evo chamber from both, so I mean, Armani is going to get a full scout. Gets to see, well, no lair just yet, but there is a Roach Roar, no Baneling Nest. Armani starts up a Roach Roar in response to that. And again, just, this is one of those ZVZs where both players seem to say, okay, well, actually, neither of us are really making that many Zerglings, and so we're both just going to go into drones and into roaches eventually. So we're kind of bypassing that early aggressive stage and just going straight into the roach mid game with both players on pretty even footing, and for, you know, anyone to really make the plays to make this work out basically. Things on the bottom right still moving around. We do see a lair on the way up on both sides as well. Distractor dropping in on the third hatch, on the third base. So, yeah, we really are just sort of waiting to see what's going to end up happening here. Just a little bit of downtime while Roach Speed comes up, etc. There's no real reason for Roach to attack before Roach Speed is in play, so we are going to have at least another 60 to 80 seconds of just kind of waiting to see. Oh, well, there actually is something to talk about, though. Nice for Ragnarok. You know, good guy Ragnarok gives us something to talk about when it looks as though the game's going to be pretty settled down for a while. He's going to drop down the Nidus network, so the Nidus is obviously pretty cool. The Nidus absolutely means that you're looking to be very aggressive, of course. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean he's all in. It just means he's likely to go kind of very harassment focused and trying to get some damage here and there. We'll keep an eye on the work account. We'll keep an eye especially on +2. If he doesn't start +2, he really is committing to just killing Armani here and now. If he starts +2, then obviously it goes a bit longer. He hasn't got Pneumatized Carapace, which Armani will get. So that's absolutely already, a little bit of a sign here, perhaps, that there is going to be something a little bit more kind of aggressive focused about this. And Armani is going to be able to deny the first Knight. Oh, should be able to. The Queen isn't attacking. Oh my god, the Queen. Oh, just get out here already. I mean, again, that shouldn't have really happened. Next Knight is at the front. Armani needs to build as many roaches as possible right now. And make sure that, again, just don't let those units come out of Nidus networks, because that's the problem. If units start coming out of Niduses in main bases, it's okay if they reinforce the front. It's Niduses in the main, etc. that become the issue, because then you've got to split your army up so much, and that becomes so difficult to do if you're already outnumbered, as Ragnarok makes the dive into the third base. Roaches from Armani coming in from the north side of this. Spinecrawler will be doing some poking to try and help out the Queens here to throw down a Transfuser too as well. Also, anything that can help defend, but now these Roaches turn around. They run out of Spinecrawler range. The Roaches in the main base are going to come up, and well, that's just, again, not what you can allow to happen. You can't let these Niduses, look how close it was as well. You can't let those Niduses come up, because now you've got to deal with the main base as well. That's going to be Ragnarok taking this, and Chivo will take the series 4-0. Dynamite is TVT, as we have got to the bottom right side. Looking to see if he can cause a bit of an upset. It's expect. His team's already won, so no pressure on him. See what he can do. Is to the top left-hand side, just trying to take some points for his team. It's Black Knight Dynamite. As we set this up and get this rolling, I really feel bad for Black Knight, because I really feel like so far they've missed their proving grounds. They're kind of missing the mark, and I really feel like Armani is better than what we've seen him be in these games. There's been games which at points they maybe should have won last week that they didn't. And then You know, the series just seemed to be over before Dynamite even gets to show what he's all about. Dynamite is pretty good. Went 1-1 with Nice last week, but honestly, Nice is pretty good right now as well, who took a map off of Gumiho this week as well. So, all things considered, so far what we've seen of Dynamite has been pretty impressive. Reaper of Dynamite coming around the right-hand side. We've seen that factory going to finish up in a few moments, so factory is going to be done. And the command center finishing up as well in a moment or two from Expect. Both players getting that expansion up into an orbital. No surprises. Expect actually had to relocate his expansion before it became an orbital, but he's able to set up into that now. So getting that going as we do see the couple of Marines, couple of Hellions coming out on either side of this. Hellion from Dynamite comes down to the low ground, and just seeing in general what is going to be next. Hellion and Reaper just going to be holding out in the center. More Hellions and a Reaper hanging out from Expect as well. Factory loads up off of the reactor, and the barracks is going to finish up on the tech lab. So a little bit of a swapping around going on right there. So a little bit of setup as we do have the Hellions able to chase away a Reaper and Expect able to defend at the front so far. A little bit of defense here. There's Raven going to sit out overhead on the ramp, and again, this Hellion is going to be picking away at the Reaper, so a little bit more damage being done. Raven about to pop up, Cyclone coming out, CC coming down as well. So again, a lot of setup going on. Why are they playing? Because all 6 maps are played no matter what. The league is designed for Chinese and Taiwanese, etc. players to be able to showcase themselves and play matches against Koreans on a regular basis to help them improve. Obviously, that doesn't really kind of shitty if you're, one of those Chinese players who then doesn't get to play because your team's already lost. So it's for like a little bit of map score, but also just the league is designed to just give matches, and also it makes sense because it means you're guaranteed 6 games. So for a broadcast schedule, you're at least getting 6 maps each week from each series. So it's just there's a lot of reasons for them to be played out, anyways, even if it doesn't completely make sense in the form of tournament. These barracks finish up, we'll see. I'm jumping on towards reactors here. A couple of Vikings on the way out from Dynamite as well. Couple of Marine fighting in the center. Reaper is able to pick the Marine off as the Vikings, 2 more of those still coming down. Stimpack about halfway done as well. Command center on the main base is currently building up too, so getting that CC up and running. The Vikings are about to pop out, and just going to be seeing the 1-1 upgrade still coming down. A couple of supply depots will drop behind the natural expansion. And again, Ravens, tanks, Marines pressing down to the bottom side. Through the watchtower. Cyclone gets picked off, and still just going to be seeing this army here from Dynamite continuing around the right. With this push, 2 Ravens against the 1 Raven, has the number advantage here against Expect when it comes to Ravens, and will Matrix to be able to get in towards this attack. We're going to see auto turrets dropping down as well. 2 auto turrets on each side. This tank was at least able to unsiege initially. These Marines were forced back to 3rd CC. Dynamite's 3rd only just now building up, so it's nice for him to be able to deny this and delay it. Puts him into a pretty good spot. Now his Raven's out of energy, he will not really be able to push into aggressive tank positions any longer. But this is obviously pretty nice. Going to be able to siege up attacks and range of a couple of bits and pieces here in this main base. I mean, another supply depot off to the side. This barracks, the factory is in range. Expect is going to start moving across the map, so Expect making those moves across. Those couple of tanks are in siege, and intrigued to see what the plan is because they've not re-sieged yet, and it's just as this army's about to come in. 1 tank sieging. Stimpack's about to be done, but maybe a bit too late. An interference matrix on a tank in the trying to trade as best he can. Dropping the Vikings to try and help him with this fight as well. Vikings will start to lift back up. Another couple more Vikings are showing up as well. It looks as though Dynamite is going to be able to clean this up. So Dynamite's going to win this fight. Marines don't have high ground vision, or tanks don't have high ground vision to kill those Marines just yet. Expect does have 1-1 upgrades, and that's something that Dynamite's just started, so he does have a big lead in that regard. These tanks still over here and still trading well. That was a bit of a mess of a fight, really. A lot going on and a lot of crazy points in time. Two Liberators moving around, coming across through the center. So one lib to the left, one lib to the right, and the factory going to move around over towards this tech lab. So dropping down, tech lab will build up. Going to see another auditor drop down here, get an SCV kill or so. I mean, just really maximizing damage done at this stage. As a couple SCVs in this refinery getting picked up as well as 5 SCVs down. Liberator sieges up the back of the main base. So Marine's going to start pressing forwards. 11 SCVs picked off recently. I mean, this Liberator picked up some good damage. This one's forcing SCVs away. It's all just adding up, and now Dynamite is starting to just run away with this game quite convincingly in the end. He's going to try and drop in over on this side, so I expect a little counterattack. Is not really going to do much, and that was his last attempt to get something done. Dynamite will pick up game. No waiting around. Dynamite taking a map for Black Knight at least, but can he take another? Dynamite's honestly been one of the better players from Black Knight so far. It's kind of done as well as I'd expect him to. Looks very good in these series that he should win as well. It's fun to watch. I really hope he gets a chance to prove himself in some games that actually have some more meaning. A little bit later on in the league, perhaps. Top left, our Blue Terran Expect. Bottom right, our Red Terran Dynamite as we go into our last game of the China Team Championship today. As mentioned, we will go into some more. We'll be casting a best of 5 TVP after this in the WardiTV Summer Championship. So that's coming up after this. And that will be that. So, getting this set up to party. See what's going to happen in the next couple of moments. So you got this roll, and SCV is on the way out. Going to be seeing the SCV of Dynamite coming up to the upper left-hand side. Reaper on the way up from both players as well, so getting that underway as we are going to be seeing this factory dropping down in the main base too. So getting that factory up and rolling here. And again, just a little bit of build up right now. See what's going to be happening. Reaper coming up, factory going to finish in a moment or two as well. Reaper going to pop up over here. This SCV going to go patrolling away. Reaper on the way out from Expect as well. Hellion on the way on the factory, and just going to be seeing that Reaper going to be chased around a little bit. Hop up, and Supply Depot will block that little jump up off, so not be able to quite properly get up there. Two Reapers, the Hellion continuing down the bottom right hand side. Starport coming up from both the players, and again, just a little bit of build up here. Dynamite did go for the faster expansion, so it is Expect that maybe has the aggressive opportunity, but as two Reapers fight one in the main base, this might seem good until the two Hellions pop up, and then suddenly this fight turns around. Are those Reapers getting away? No, they don't. So in the end, it's one Reaper for two in favor of Dynamite. Dynamite doing pretty well there. Hellion from Expect coming back up through the center of the map. We've seen Marauder and Concussive Shells starting from Dynamite as well, so getting that rolling. We're just going to see those couple extra Marines on the way out of this barracks, so extra Marines coming into play. Tech Lab from on the starboard coming up too. Cyclone going to cancel. More Marines on the way out. Raven as well. Lots of build up here at the moment as Concussive Shells will be about halfway done. Start pushing out onto the map, and just a few moments of calm here in the early stages of this. That one Hellion all the way up to the north is going to be looking to get away. Raven's building on both sides, and here's Dynamite to once again have the units to perhaps be a little bit aggressive. Raven on the way out in the main base. Medevac has a couple of Marauders here as well. It's a pretty aggressive push. If you can hit the Cyclone and shut that down with these Marauders, then you can get on top of the Siege Tank pretty quickly. This Hellion is actually just getting on top of this pretty quick in general. The Marauder damage onto this Siege Tank is going to be very important here. Siege Tank goes down, and now it's SCVs fighting against Hellions. The Auto Turret does a lot though, and I tell you what, maybe a mistake to keep the Hellions in range of that Auto Turret for so long. One Hellion in the main base looking to pick up a couple extra final kills. These two Marauders on the low ground still doing pretty well as well though, and looks as though Expect is just in trouble. These Hellions and Marauders have absolutely cleaned up. Meal just hanging out on the low ground. A couple of Marauders will pick up another SCV. This Hellion back down to the low ground too. Marine is going to go down as well. Just going to be seeing the little bit of Hellion on Hellion action continuing as well. Alright, is this Raven about halfway done? Another Siege Tank about to finish. Still got Marauder in the main base. Now going to be backed up by an Auto Turret, which is going to help to pick up a whole bunch of extra SCVs actually. And Expect is in so much trouble here. Cyclone about to run up this ramp. I mean, we actually have a Siege Tank which is moving into the main. Dynamite will be able to kill off this Marauder, and again then obviously has the Cyclone to party with, although Auto Turret drops down, and that's going to be a good defense because it cleans up the Cyclone and the Marines that are wandering forwards. And Dynamite is going to have to stop being aggressive for a few moments. Take it easy, but obviously he is so far ahead on economy, he should be able to build up another army and push soon enough. Momentum the finishes in the main base, so third CC is already flying out as well. Expect doesn't really have the units to defend a third base location at all just yet. It's going to see this Raven back in the main. Just looking for Auto Turrets, two of them together. Going to get rid of a couple of Marines. Marauder will go down too. It's again, just even if cleaning out units right now, right? It puts Expect into so much pressure because it means he has even less to defend with when these attacks come across the map. Looking pretty painful at the moment. Stimpack starting up from Dynamite. He is very far behind on that, but when you don't have any units, what does it even matter from Expect's point of view, right? He doesn't have the units to actually stim, so he's just in trouble in general, as we're going to be seeing. More Marines popping out, but yeah, this is not looking good. Raven continuing over to the right-hand side. It's going to be seeing what it can get up to here. 1-1 upgrades from Dynamite still on the way in as well. Combat shields will be finishing up shortly. Again, just a good amount of Marines and Medevacs continue to press towards the upper left-hand side here. Seeing where they can get to, seeing what they'll be able to do. Two Medevacs will start boosting down the left side. There's one Marine from Dynamite is going to get dropped onto pretty quick as well. All of these Marines also coming across to the left. It's a bunch of Marines all together as Dynamite continues to run out to far left-hand side. There's two extra engineering bays, the 1-1 upgrades. Missile turret now dropping down as well. There's Medevac going to load up and boost into the main. SCP is immediately going to be in some extra trouble, but well, not too much. I mean, just going to go running around. The Marines on the low ground somehow can reach that depot. It looks like they shouldn't be able to do that, but they can. Again, we're just kind of waiting for a push here to kind of close out this game. That Hellion Marauder attacked it so much, and we're at the stage now where Dynamite just has a huge lead, and little bits and pieces like losing this tank on the third base is only going to add up. This is a nice little drop from Expect, trying to do some damage, right? It's the right kind of idea. Counter dropping, looking to get in mineralized, pick up some units, and make use of the fact that he has, had that faster stim, etc. He did okay here, but then when the medevacs go down, you realize he's still down heavily in numbers, and this medevac's just going to load up, jump into the main base. SCVs are already low here, so 3 Marines can actually do more than you'd initially expect. Picking up 1 kill very quickly. If they target fired, they could have probably found 2 or 3 more, and that's that are mining on that refinery. Expect trying to stay in the game, but it's not going to happen as Dynamite, again, just getting ready to push onto the third base there, and the unit count is just way too heavily in his favor. He also has the 1-1 upgrades, which will obviously help in the Marine versus Marine. Dynamite again. He does look like the strong player in these matches that he plays. It's just the rest of his team needs to step up a little bit, pull their weight, and the rest of his team can pull their weight a little bit more. Black Knight, again, they could maybe not be in playoff contention, but they can definitely fight for some better placement in the league, which would be quite awesome, of course. All the teams participating do guarantee themselves at least $700 for playing, by the way. So just continue to drop down. This is going to be ended. But even just moving up to kind of 7th or 8th place adds, a few hundred extra dollars. So there's more and more money to be won based on how well your team